There's a particular feeling that comes when you finally arrive home, or you finally arrive to your safe space or your happy place, wherever that might be. Maybe it's after a long trip or after an extremely stressful week. Or maybe it's walking into a place where the people know you and they love you. But your shoulders relax, your breathing slows down a little bit. Something inside of you settles. Because you know that you're safe, that you belong. There's a peace that comes with that belonging. And deep down, that's what every human heart longs for. That kind of a home where they belong. And into a world full of restless hearts, Jesus says, don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God and trust also in me. When Jesus says these words, they're not softly spoken into a peaceful moment where they're all gathered around in worship. These words are spoken on one of the most emotionally intense nights in the life of Jesus. These words come from the night before the cross, when the disciples were confused and afraid of what's coming next. So Jesus speaks directly into their anxious hearts. So let's hear these words from Jesus in John chapter 14. Jesus speaking says, don't let your hearts be troubled. Trust in God and trust also in me. There is more than enough room in God's home. If this were not so, would I have told you that I'm going to prepare a place for you? When everything is ready, I will come and get you, so that you will always be with me where I am, and you know the way to where I am going. Notice how Jesus begins, don't let your hearts be troubled. This is in the upper room the night before the crucifixion. Jesus has just told those gathered that one of you will betray me. Peter, you will deny me. He's bent down and he's washed their feet. He's broken bread and shared the wine and offered a discourse suggesting that moving forward, this meal is going to be different. Everything that the disciples thought was stable is beginning to shake. Their hopes, their expectations, their understanding of the future. And into that moment, Jesus speaks and says, don't let your hearts be troubled. This word troubled, meaning stirred up or shaken or agitated, like waves that are being whipped by a storm. Jesus does not deny the storm. Instead, he gives them an anchor, because he immediately then says, trust in God and trust also in me. The faith that Jesus is describing is not simply an intellectual agreement. It's deeper than believing certain ideas or doctrines about God. It's a personal reliance, a personal relationship. To believe in Jesus means to lean the full weight of your confidence on him, even when tomorrow feels uncertain or frightening. You can believe that a bridge exists. Driving over it is trust in that bridge. You can believe in a chair and that it's strong. Sitting in it with your full weight is trusting that chair. Faith isn't about knowing how the story ends. It's about knowing who you're walking with through that story. That's what Jesus is inviting the disciples into, that kind of a relationship of walking with. Because their circumstances that they're anxious about, they are not about to improve. right? The betrayal will still happen. The arrest will still come. The cross will still stand. The meal is forever changed. Jesus isn't saying, let me change all of those to take away your anxiety. Their hope should not be in those circumstances smoothing out. The hope is in the steadfast presence of Christ. And then Jesus says something remarkable. He says, there is more than enough room in God's home. I'm going to go prepare a place for you. Often we hear that and we immediately picture heaven as a location, as a destination. But Jesus' language is invitational. It's a language of belonging. I'm going to go prepare it for you because you belong there. See, in the Old Testament, access to God was limited. There was the tabernacle, then there was the temple, then there were courts and barriers, there was the holy place and the most holy place. Only priests could enter certain places, and only the high priest could enter the most holy of places, and only one time a year. There were all kinds of barriers. Encounters with God were selective and they were mediated. But here, now, with the disciples, Jesus is offering something radically different. God's house. Not a restricted temple, a house. A safe space. A place to belong. And in that house, there's more than enough room. Lots and lots of room. Thank you, Audio Adrenaline, 1993. Big house with lots and lots of rooms. A big table with lots and lots of food. Or we could play football or whatever else you want to play. Because in God's house, everyone belongs and there is more than enough room. Likewise, is that what you are offering to others when you offer an invitation into relationship with God? A safe space, a place to belong, a place with more than enough room. See, the heart of Christian hope is not simply heaven as a location, it's having God as our home. Every human heart longs for a place to belong, even more than just survival. And every longing for home, every ache for security, every desire for friendship finds fulfillment in the presence of God. Because through Jesus, those barriers fall down. There's no more restricted access to God and to God's house. There's no more standing at a distance, sending others in on your behalf. Jesus says, I'm going to prepare a place for you. Jesus is inviting us in.